Hello once again, my watchers of good TV. My name is Nick Pell, and this is once again coming from my college dorm room. Now, I was in Turkey for about 10 days, so I missed about 4 season finales during that time, which I wasn't really expecting, and then they happened, and I was like, oh crap, I have to watch stuff. So, this is the first in a long line of series reviews that I'll be doing in the next few days. So I'll be covering in this video Once Upon a Time Season 2. Just right away, I should let you guys know there will be spoilers from Season 2 in this. So if you haven't seen the whole of Season 2 yet, or you haven't seen the finale, you shouldn't probably watch this. I will talk about the finale mainly at the end of the video after the credits, like I always do for these videos now. Just know that if you haven't seen the full extent of Season 2 yet, you will have stuff spoiled for you, because I'm going to talk about everything up to essentially the last 2 episodes of Season 2. Let's begin. First off, magic has returned to Storybrooke. This season started back in September. It just finished now, and so it's a lot to kind of put into it. Emma Swan and the whole rest of the Storybrooke gang, they are all back, along with some new characters. In the first half of Season 2, we see Princess Aurora and Mulan show up as characters in the Enchanted Forest. And this kind of develops into the main plot line for the first half of Season 1. Now, this was kind of one of my gripes that I had with the first, or with this season, is that it seemed to be kind of split into 2 different story arcs. So it almost seemed like the first half of Season 2 was Season 2, and then the second half could have essentially been Season 3. They had enough episodes in each one to kind of distinguish themselves a little bit. There was stuff that kind of held over, but it felt almost like there were too many different story arcs going on in the season to make it a full actual season. Like Season 1 did that really well. They had Emma finding Storybrooke, and then up to her believing in magic. That was the whole story arc, and everyone remembered who they were. In this one, they kind of come to the conclusion of the first plot line, more or less, at the mid-season finale, and then they start up a whole new plot line. Well, not a whole new plot line, but something that is different than just Emma and Snow in the Enchanted Forest. Yeah, that was my only real gripe with the season. For the most part, I did really enjoy it. For the episodes that I watched, they were all really good. There was some character development in every episode, as far as I can tell. They introduced some really cool new characters. Cora, who is Regina's mother, and is basically much more evil than Regina could possibly be. She was a big part of the majority of Season 2. Captain Hook, he is, I believe, a new character in Season 2. And I liked how much he was actually in this season. Like, we introduced him at the beginning of Season 2, and he is in the Season 2 finale. And I really like the fact that he seems like he's going to be a main character throughout the rest of the show, up to what I'm assuming will be his eventual death. Like I said before, there's Princess Aurora, there is Mulan. They were main characters in the first half of Season 2. Once Emma and Snow leave the Enchanted Forest and they get back to Storybrooke, that's when we kind of lose sight of them. They're kind of just mainly there for the first half of Season 2. And then they're kind of not really very relevant anymore for the rest of the season. One thing that I did also like about the season was Regina and her kind of inner conflict about what type of person she wanted to be, because for her whole time in the Enchanted Forest, we see through her flashbacks her gradual becoming of the evil queen, and where she eventually ends up before everyone's transported to Storybrooke. Now we see her trying to be good. She's trying to reverse that process. She's trying to be a good person to show Henry that she's not just this evil queen who wants to kill everyone. She can be a good person, and we see her try to do that. She is manipulated like crazy by Cora. And then it's also kind of partly due to the faults of the rest of the Storybrooke characters as well, because she is trying to change, but they always just see her as the evil queen. They don't see her as Regina because of the history that is embodied with her. And that makes it very difficult for someone to change if everyone around them is going to perceive them as what they once were. Now, the main thing that kind of was revealed in the season, if I remember right, was Neil, who is Emma's or was Emma's boyfriend, and is Henry's father. He is revealed to be Balefire, who is Rumpelstiltskin's son, and that was probably the main big reveal of the season. It happened pretty soon into the second half of season 2, and there are people predicting it like crazy on YouTube. I just saw like the preview clips, and there are people saying, "Oh, it's Balefire, it's Balefire, it's Balefire." I'm like, okay, that makes sense, and then it was. And then he eventually becomes a main aspect of Storybrooke in the second half of season 2. If you've seen the show, you know that Neil goes back to Storybrooke, and he becomes kind of a part of that whole system. Rumpelstiltskin finally gets his son back, but the interesting thing with Rumpelstiltskin, which is kind of haunting him throughout, I think the majority of season 2, is that Henry will be his downfall, and he kind of struggles with this idea of, do I off the kid now and keep my power, or do I just kind of accept it and try to help him as necessary? And in the finale, we see him kind of struggling with that a little bit, and which I will talk about after the credits. Alright, 2 more things, and then I'll talk about the season finale. Now, 2 main characters that showed up in the second part of season 2 is Greg and Tamara, and they're quickly revealed to be villains. We don't really know what's driving them to do all this stuff until the very end of season 2, and just then, just barely. I thought it was kind of interesting how they all end up being, or they end up being kind of a group when they show up separately. Their main goal seems to be to eradicate Storybrooke, but they also have some other objective, which I will talk about in the spoiler part of the video. Lastly, I want to talk about Belle, because she is the last person who has a really big change in this season. In the second half of season 2, she crosses the town line and thus loses her memory. She forgets completely who she is. So Regina, being the mean person that she can be, puts false memories in Belle's head and makes her become this girl named Lacey. And you know, Belle is this innocent, nice, caring, loving person. Lacey is basically the opposite. She likes the bad stuff, she dresses provocatively, and she likes Rumpelstiltskin being a bad person, while Belle liked him being a good person. So, that also affects Rumpelstiltskin, as you can see. That's everything I'm going to cover. If I missed anything, comment below, let me know about anything that you want to know about, my opinion on. And yeah, overall, I really enjoyed season 2. Besides the 2 halves that seemed like of a season, I thought they did a really good job with it, and I'm really, really excited for season 3. So, yeah, like, favorite, comment, and subscribe if you so choose. I would appreciate it immensely. And as always, my good people, my name is Nick Pell, and once again, keep on watching. And if you are still watching, you are here to watch my thoughts on the finale of season 2. Now, my camera's dying, so I have to talk about this really quickly. Basically, season 2 and straight on until morning, the finale to this season actually does a really, really good job with it. We see conclusions to a lot of the stories that we need to deal with. Balefire is the main flashback that we see in his interaction with Hook. Now that was a really interesting thing that we saw, because Captain Hook, who we know wants to kill Rumpelstiltskin, we see them kind of bond, him and Balefire, which is really interesting to me. And they see their similarities, and that seems to kind of confuse Hook a little bit, and it wasn't something that he was really expecting to have to deal with. Now, the main part of this episode was basically Storybrooke going to die out and turn back into the forest that it was before Regina planted Storybrooke into that forest, and them basically trying to find it. I thought it was really cool how Emma and Regina ended up having to combine their forces to kind of stop the bomb. I'm just going to call it a bomb because I don't know what else to call it. The trigger. Stop the trigger from destroying the town. It was kind of easy to tell that was going to come. I don't think that they were going to really kill off Regina that easily, but it would be in a much more dramatic fashion. I thought it would have been well done if they had done it that way, because it would have been kind of good person finale type of thing. But she's too important of a character to kill off this early into the series. Okay, the very end of season 2, the very end of the end part of the finale. I like how they have basically demonized Peter Pan, because everyone else, as far as I can tell, in this show has been kind of parallel to their story characters. Like Belle is this good person, Snow White is this good person, Regina is this evil person, Rumpelstiltskin is a trickster. And we see Peter Pan. We haven't actually seen him, but it seems like he is going to be the main villain in season 3. Based on everything that we've seen so far, he seems to have an evil shadow. He seems to be an evil person. And he's trying to get Henry, as we saw in the picture that one of the Lost Boys had of him. Greg and Tamara have taken Henry to Neverland at the bidding of Peter Pan, which I think is kind of interesting that they're working for someone who's magical when they hate magical creatures. And then we see kind of the group, who I'm assuming will be the main group in season 3, come together. We see a lot of these forces allied. Hook and Rumpelstiltskin are among them, and it'll be really interesting to see how they play out in season 3, whether they start up their feud again or if they kind of become allies throughout the season. And just seeing what this will envelop. I was really happy with the finale. I thought they did a really nice job with it. I was very satisfied with the ending. I kind of wish that 1 or 2 more people would have died. So yeah, that is about it. That is my thoughts on the finale of the season. Or if you have your own thoughts on the finale, I'd like to hear them. Comment below if you do. Try not to do anything too horribly spoilerish, but if you do, you do. So, like, favorite, comment, and subscribe if you so choose. I'd appreciate it immensely. And as always, my good people, my name is Nick Pell, and once again, keep on watching.